You know, music saved my life, music's changed my life, and music helped me change other people's lives as well.
You know, Cowboy Carter has almost had more impact than even Renaissance.
You know, although I started in '98, the biggest accomplishment is being a conversation in 2024.
I mean, have you ever felt out of your element?
And I just love to challenge myself and to push myself to do things that people think are crazy.
Swizz Beatz, camel racing. I think people are going to be very confused.
And they was confused, and then some still are confused. Camel racing is one of the biggest sports in the world that the world might not know about. And I was like, wait a minute, if I had a team, would I be the first American to ever have a team in the league? And it's like, yes. And then that's when it's like, bing, bing, bing. If I can make history with it, then I'm on it.
And it's clear that you're serious. You know, for people who think this is just a fun thing for Swizz Beatz, this is not, you're serious, you're doing this.
I feel I haven't even started yet.
Welcome to the Power Play podcast, where we talk to those who are shaping culture, ideas, and industries. Today's guest has been doing all of that and so much more across multiple domains, everything from music, art, fashion, and now camel racing. Today, we're getting an insight into the colorful life of legendary Grammy-winning artist, producer, culture shifter, and entrepreneur Swizz Beatz. Swizz, it is just such a pleasure to have you joining us from the stunning AlUla.
Shukran, shukran.
You know, now Swizz, before we jump into exactly why you're there in AlUla, we need a little bit of background about who Swizz Beatz is, where your journey began, and who Kassim Dawoodine was growing up. So paint a picture for us of those defining moments for you and your youth.
I had the privilege of growing up in the South Bronx, New York City, where art was all around me, fashion was all around me, music was all around me. And, you know, it was a great place, although it was an underprivileged area, very humble beginnings, but it allowed me to be grounded. I had family around me, I had friends around me, and I had a great time. And so I think my journey started from the South Bronx in New York City.
What an incredible place to be and to grow up. Music was, of course, central to that journey and to that story, as you say. Talk to us about some of those songs, some of the artists that shaped you, that really made you into that person who just absolutely loved music, needed to be at the center of it.
Well, when you go outside in the Bronx, there was music in the back park, there was music in the front park, there was music coming from the windows of the projects, and you would hear Marvin Gaye, you would hear hip hop, you would hear Latin music, you would hear reggae music. So it was a melting pot of all genres of sounds, which I think is the reason why even still today, people think I only listen to hip hop. That's wrong. I listen to every genre of music. I mean, I played E-Tab last night at the skating rink.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely incredible. And you know, you've been making music for decades now. You have been called one of the 20 greatest producers of the last 20 years, probably of all time, in fact, in hip hop and R&B. But like you say, it has been something that, of a melting pot of that journey. You've had your hand in so many different things. What would you say, I know you've got a lot to choose from, are some of those songs that you've been involved with as an artist, as a producer, that have just really been pivotal for you?
Well, I feel they all been pivotal for me because, you know, music saved my life, music's changed my life, and music helped me change other people's lives as well. But I think a pivotal moment is right now. You know, I have Beyonce's current single, called Spaghetti, that's out, that officially came out, I think, yesterday off the album. And being able to start in 1998 and still have a current single in 2024, you know, I think that's very crucial because it shows the longevity. It shows that, you know, if you have the talent, you can keep reinventing yourself, and you can keep changing history with your creativity. And although I started in '98, the biggest accomplishment is being a conversation in 2024.
It is pivotal and amazing and incredible. But you know what I love about spaghetti? Where Linda Martell says, genres are a funny little concept, aren't
Yeah.
they? And it's fantastic. I think it's amazing to see because Cowboy Carter has almost had more impact than even Renaissance, which just shook the world, right? And I think it speaks to what you're talking about, that people want to see themselves in new ways and to break those boundaries. And you strike me as somebody who's been doing that over and over and over again. I mean, have you ever felt out of your element? Or because it just looks like every time you walk into a new space, walk into a new project, it's like you own it. Have you
Thank
ever
you.
felt like, this has been in a challenge where you're like, how am I going to do this? And how do you
Yeah.
overcome that?
I mean, the challenge for me is doing what everyone else is doing at the current time. That's a challenge for me. I never work well with doing what everyone is doing, and it's always been a challenge for me. As the blender goes off, no, I said, but it's always been a challenge for me to fit inside of a box. Sky is not the limits; it's just the view. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone, and I'm comfortable outside of my comfort zone, if that makes any sense. Like, I love the challenge. I love to, when everybody's going right, I'm gonna go left naturally as a Virgo. And I just love to challenge myself and to push myself to do things that people think are crazy. But if I'm doing it, I really have a passion for it. I really have a love for it, and I really have a big idea for it as well.
You really do. It's almost bigger than life. And I love that because like you say, it's like you're there to break boundaries no matter what you do. Let's talk a little bit about art, your love for it, your support for artists. We're talking now here visual artists. It's not just that you love art, you've been a connoisseur and a collector for decades now. But what is it about visual art that attracts you so much? Right now, you have the incredible exhibition Giants at the Brooklyn Museum.
Yes.
What is it about that is so important to you?
Art in itself is important to me, and I think should be important to the world. But for me, particular, it was an expression that that I felt more comfortable working in that medium of creativity rather than academics. Because when you go to school, it's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of kids that can't express themselves maybe through the academics side of it. But when you look at them from an artist side, you'll see that, wow, this person is very intelligent. They probably didn't pass the math test, but their EQ is probably higher than the entire school, just from them expressing themselves in a creative way. And I've seen so many kids that would have got left to the side have a voice through creativity, and that's why I doubled down on it. That's why we support it so much, because it's okay to express your greatness in other ways. And I think a lot of people find their voice through arts, music, design, and and that's why we was excited to put a portion of our collection on display at the Brooklyn Museum called Giants. And we made the title Giants because, not only the works in there, oversized works, the artists are the giants. And also, from another standpoint, we're not giant collectors of our own culture, and we wanted to show people that it's okay to be giants of your own culture as well, instead of, because what happens is we always get left with the works on paper or the this, and then you'll go somewhere and the best masterpiece of being a restaurant somewhere, and so and so we wanted to just try to change that narrative and let our culture know it's okay to double down on the culture itself.
You know what's phenomenal? You're seeing pieces from incredible artists like Kehinde Wiley, like Kerry James Marshall, because to me, I feel like art is about unveiling. It's about reframing. It's about expanding our understanding of both ourselves and the wider world. And when you see artists like that, because we weren't previously seeing Black people or Black artists in the elite art world. But this is like a whole new reimagining of representation. For those who are not familiar with Kehinde Wiley, he did the portraits of President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama, which is the first artist of color to do so, which is so incredible. So, is that important to you? Creating that reimagining, that representation, like you said, it's giants. We are so much greater.
Yeah, I mean, and shout out to Kehinde for his masterful portraits, and it's an honor that he did them of me and my wife.
Yes.
Those works came in at 9 a.m. The day opening of the show. I think the oil paintings was still wet, but that shows his passion, his dedication, and his actual love for us and art itself. And we always want to push that message of, you know, going as big as possible and mastering your craft. I think it's important.
Exactly. He did those incredible portraits of you and Alicia. And, he's been exhibited here in Dubai as well.
Yeah.
Incredible, incredible work, from this artist and so many others. But you know what is really interesting about you? You're not just a collector, but you're somebody who's actually really passionate about seeing visual artists get their dues. And something that you think about a lot is how can we make sure that visual artists are being paid or continue to be getting paid in the same way that musical artists do. So what's your vision for that?
Well, my vision for that is that I don't understand why it's not happening already. Music and art are brothers and sisters. They move actually parallel, but they're two different businesses, and I feel that one business should catch up to the other. And both businesses are not perfect. Both businesses can use work, but the reason why I'm able to afford a Kehinde and different artists is because I'm getting paid off of works I did when I was 18 years old, right? Still today at 45. And I feel that, art is even different because it's even more precious because that artist is painting that painting one time. That's that's it. Music, you can reproduce it over and over, that same record, that same song. So I feel that an artist should go for the entire ride of its journey that it gave people happiness with from painting those works. And we have a couple of solutions that's in the work that you know, I think that it'll change the game. And then also our art fair, no commissions, where we let the artists keep 100% of their sales, because I think everybody's throwing all these events for the artists, but what is the event for the artists? Let it really be about the artists and let them keep 100% of their sales and let them have that as a celebration. And then they can get back to the other deals and things they worked out with the galleries and whoever. But celebrating the artists to me is letting them keep 100% of their sales. And it's been a great thing. And we've been able to help millions of artists around the world through no commissions, putting them in front of people, giving them the blueprint to success and giving them a blueprint to independence, doubling down on the educational part of it so they could present themselves in a way that's not being taken advantage of, which most artists are, because a lot of artists have the passion. So the business people know the artists have the passion, and the artists got to have the passion and the business to protect themselves. So we push those topics very heavy.
Do you feel like NFTs, they've been a lot in the conversation in terms of visual artists and allowing them to continue to get paid for their work? Do you feel like that is a solution for them to kind of level it up so that they have those kind of royalties that maybe music artists do?
I think the blockchain is definitely an interesting program. It just needs to fit into an integrated program that makes it very simple for the creatives to understand, because the word NFT, the word blockchain is more famous than the actual action of what it can do, right? So a lot of people like to throw those names around, even the artists, but I think the real solution is understanding what that technology can really do and how it can protect the work and and create the perfect system that fit into that, integrate the artist with the technology and the know-how.
You know, speaking of understanding and being educated and learning about that kind of stuff, you actually later in life went back to Harvard Business School. Talk to us about that experience. Why'd you do it? And why was it important to you?
Um, because I started stepping outside of the music side of it, and I started getting more into the business side of it. Uh, I didn't even plan it; it just started happening. I just started meeting one person and knowing that this person has what this other person might need, and I started doing M&As, not even having a background in it, and I was feeling kind of like I was feeling a little disrespected in the rooms because of how they were speaking to me. They were speaking to me more on Swizz Beatz term instead of Kasim terms, although I wasn't in there on those Swizz Beatz. I was in there as a business person, and they was talking to me about Grammys and all of this hip hop stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm not in any type of hip hop mode. I have a suit on. I'm here to do business. There's hundreds of millions of dollars that we're talking about with these particular transactions, and I was offended how, and I spoke to one of my friends, very wealthy business person, and I explained to them the situation, and they said, they're not being disrespectful. They know that you don't understand the language. And then it hit me. I was like, wow. He's like, yeah, if they was to bring up, what's your betting plan, or what's an IPO, or what's, these different terms in business, you would probably get uncomfortable, and they didn't want you to get uncomfortable. So they're talking about something that they know you're versed in. And I was like, man, I have to change that immediately. And then he said, you should go back to school. And I was on the plane with him, and right in Monique Blake, one of my partners, like, I need to go to school. And that's what started that journey, because I was hitting the ceiling, and I just had to take accountability for where my education was at that moment, and upgrade that. And we should always stay students, even with the education that we have. We should always sharpen our pencils, and it's been a great journey. I'm so happy I've done that 3-year course.
Amazing. And it speaks to the humility that you need to have to be able, I mean, this incredible producer who's worked with everybody, artist who's worked with everyone, and then you're kind of like you're in the student seat there. You're ready to learn. You're open. Like that takes a whole different mindset. For some, it's like some people might have too much of an ego to kind of go, well, actually, I have a lot to learn. How do you change that mindset?
Just knowing that, I mean, it all depends on your goals. Some people are comfortable where they're at. I feel I haven't even started yet, and that's just the thing, because how can I have started yet when everything I did was, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just doing it. Like, I didn't understand. I was just making the hits. I wasn't understanding which side of my brain the hit was actually coming from. I was just going and speeding. So it's just like driving in a block, driving through the town every day doing 100 miles per hour. And somebody say, you drive from your house to this location every day. The store that's 2 blocks over that sell the shoes? I drive through this block every day for 10 years. I wouldn't even be able to answer that person. I was like, what store? What store are you talking about? You drive past it every day. So sometimes you got to slow the car down and actually take in the inventory of your surroundings, and, grade yourself with where you at. I think you should evaluate yourself every 3 years and see where you at and see if you're happy. Because sometimes we just programmed just to run, just to go. The whole industries mostly teach you just how to run. They don't teach you how to take a break. It just charges you up to just go and kind of find a vacation instead of living
Yeah.
on vacation and going to work. Like, right? So, like, I live on vacation and I go to work. And it's just a mindset that I just chose to have, because I just noticed that people will just run you to the ground, and then they won't even say thank you on the way out.
And it speaks to as well, so many creatives, that's what they know. They know their art, but they don't know the business. And so that's a big thing
It's the
that
art business. It's the fashion business. It's the music business. We leave out that capital B, and it just doesn't make any sense because we spending so much time, we giving our life to it. That's like handing your child over and not worrying about how it's being taken care of. You have to protect your baby, which is your craft. And so that was definitely the reason why I went back to school, and also encouraged, many people. I think about 15,000 enrollments went in while I was in Harvard. They wrote notes to the school, and it was a domino effect. And the weird thing was, a lot of people was upset at me for going back to school. Like, they was literally upset at me for going to further my education. I couldn't believe people were saying, "Man, you're already wealthy. What do you need an education? What do you need to go to school? You should give that slot to somebody else." I'm like, I'm from the South Bronx. I need all the education I can get, and the world is a crazy place sometimes, but you have to keep moving, and you just have to just keep building what you need to build that's going to feed yourself, and that's going to feed your future as well.
I think people might have been saying that because you were showing them their own weaknesses that they weren't dealing with, and because you were leveling up, which is pretty incredible. And I love that. But let's talk a little bit about something fantastic that you created in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is a cultural phenomenon, Verzuz. Absolutely fantastic. You and Timberland, of course, did the very first one.
Yes.
And then it was just a snowball effect of some of the most incredible artists. You started taking us back, and even way, way back. We had like Ashanti and Kesha Cole, Erica Badu and Jill Scott, Brandy versus Monica, Alicia, of course, and John Legend.
Yes.
And we even went way back to Earth, Wind and Fire and the Isley Brothers.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. How fantastic. And what a fantastic way to bring so much joy to people in such a difficult time. Are you amazed by what happened?
Yeah, I mean, it started as the concept I had I believe in 2006, and I did it with Kanye first in front of 50,000 people at Summer Jam. That was the first iteration of it, way ahead of its time. People enjoyed it during the show, but it wasn't really developed as a full concept yet. It was just, I just knew that when you get two artists to celebrate each other in a creative way, it would work. And fast forward, trying it a couple of times, COVID hit, spoke to Tim and said, you know what, let's try this now and give people something to distract them from all this negativity that's going on. And we did it, and it worked. And had a snowball effect. And, and even Verse has been a real serious journey that if I didn't go back to school and have my education, I needed that during that time. Once we started getting big and started, it became a business. I mean, it is a business. And, you guys are going to see more of it being a business as well. But, I can't wait till people see the documentary on Verzuz, because it's going to teach people so much. While we was bringing joy to the world, we was dealing with so much. I mean, even up until last month, well, you're going to just see you're just going to see the uncut, just how the business is, how the music is. We make it look easy, but you really have to put in a lot of work for greatness to happen. And you got to put in work to create something that people love. It's not just a great concept. That's just the concept. But what goes behind the concept is no sleep, endless hours on the phone, endless conversations, some people disappointing you, some people making you happy, ups, downs, just so many things that comes with something that people can just click a button and have a beautiful outfit on and celebrate, but what people are going to see is everything that it takes for that moment that they're celebrating, which I think is amazing, educational for people that's in the industry and even people that's not in the industry, because it's just a a beautiful case study.
Well, but it also had a major effect on the artists that were involved as well, because some of them we hadn't seen in years, and then they appeared on Versus. What kind of an impact did that have on them?
Yeah, I mean, Versus, it's an educational masterclass. That's what we call it. It's not two people tearing down each other. It's actually two people or two groups celebrating their biggest moments in their life, which is 20 hits. And we seen streaming go up 700%. Excuse me. We seen tours sell out. You haven't stopped seeing Ashanti and Ja Rule since their verses. You know, some people know how to seize the moment and never get off that train. And more importantly, it broke many, many records. You know, 12 million views for a live stream. It's the biggest live stream, period, you know, for performance. You know, it's the biggest performance platform in the world still today, with us, you know, rebooting and taking a break. Nothing has beat the record yet. And it's been amazing.
Where are you taking Versus next? Are we going to see international versions? Are we going to see a Versus here in the Middle East? What are your plans for it?
Sky's not the limit, it's just a view. I can show you better than I could tell you. And I'm excited about it. And we took our time, and we've been taking our time, and we actually took the break that we needed, because while everybody was celebrating, we was working through the whole COVID, putting on this amazing show, and we realized that we didn't even have a mental break to digest what we've done, digest the time that it was, digest just everything. Once we started, we just kept going like a train. And we said, wow, you know, this break is needed, this reboot is needed. This company is 100 times bigger than when we first started, and we need to regroup, recalibrate, change a couple of things, and come back for the full takeover.
Exactly, because you've of course had the Triller acquisition, so that just grew the whole thing on a
Yeah,
whole different level.
yeah, but we own the
And so
company. We own the company 100% now again. So, yeah,
it's been a ride, and
yeah,
we're going to see where it's going to go next. But
yes,
let's talk about, because you know this is your thing. You do it so effortlessly. You do things that nobody would expect. Here you are in an owner, the owner of a camel racing team. Now people are going to hear, honestly, when I heard it, like last year when I heard about it, I was like, Swizz Beatz, camel racing. I think people are going to be very confused.
yeah.
Please
And they
explain.
was confused, and then some still are confused. Camel racing is one of the biggest sports in the world that the world might not know about. It's very popular here in the GCC. I've been a fan of the Middle East for ages. My grandfather was in Mecca in the 70s. He managed Muhammad Ali as well. And it's always been a fascination in my family and my background. I love the music, I love the food, I love the smell of the oud, everything. And so my journey been coming to the Middle East for many years. I mean, I was in so many parts way, way early, and to be in Saudi at a very transitional time, I started picking up the camel racing heritage and culture, and I was like, man, like I love the way the commentators speak. I love the way I never even knew that camels could run, because we always seen a slow walking visual of them, and I was like, wait a minute, camels race so fast that you have to drive a car on the side of it to keep up with it? And it was like, yes. And I started getting into it and said, man, you know, I started looking at the flags, and there was only flags from the GCC. And I was like, wait a minute, if I had a team, would I be the first American to ever have a team in the league? And it was like, yes. And then that's when it's like, bing, bing, right? Like, cause I love, if I can make history with it, then I'm on it. You know, if somebody hasn't done it yet, I'm excited to do it. And then it took a while, and then I finally got approved, and started meeting the most amazing trainers and just taking advice from people that was in that field. And 20-something trophies later, Saudi Bronx is here. We're right now at the AlUla Cup, which is the biggest event. We have 6 chances to win. Yesterday we came in 4th place, which is not bad considering the true talent that's here. This race is based off of all of the best camels throughout the year. And today's a real big day, trying to get that #1 trophy or a couple of #1 trophies. But more importantly than the trophies, it's a give back. It's a give back to the people. It's a give back to the culture. It's a give back to the Bedouins who, lived this culture for many years. I mean, my trainer's family can tell if a camel's pregnant by the footprint in the sand. And it's the most loved animal, period. I mean, they got people to their destinations all across Africa, all across the Middle East, and to see the camels celebrated to this level is super amazing. And I wanted to leave something in Saudi that deals with the people, the actual people, rather than just coming and being transactional and just looking for money. It's like, no, invest here, do something cool here, be of the people that's from here, and then all of those other things could come. Like all of those things would come. But I'm having fun actually. So it's not work. It's fun.
I hope you're going to be in the running to get those trophies. It will be incredibly exciting to see you, win a couple of trophies in the AlUla Cup. But this is not actually the only thing that you're doing in AlUla, as you're kind of saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that you have your hands in, that you're creating, that you're developing. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, fun project. We have the first skating ring in AlUla. Maybe in Saudi, but we love that it's in a little oasis that you kind of have to find, and it's for the people. It's free for the people. There's music, there's food. We fly in special guests from all over the world, and once again, it's a give back. It's something that that we brought here for the people to enjoy. So even when we're not here, it's still giving joy and light. It's not performing on the stage and just leaving and khalas, that's it. Whether I'm here or not, people are having fun with AlUla on wheels. And this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is the work that we're supposed to be doing in other places, instead of just going to take. My whole concept is to, leave something as well and make it an even exchange and not just a transactional interaction.
I don't know. I want to get your kind of feeling for AlUla as well, because I was lucky enough to be there a year ago, and it was my first time, and I can't wait to get back there again. But it just has this otherworldly feel about it. When you get there, it's like you've landed on another planet. When you're amongst the mountains, there is just like you feel this spiritual energy that is unlike any other place.
Yeah.
What's your feeling about it?
I mean, I'm on Mars right now. I don't know
Yeah.
what anybody else is. I'm in AlUla on Mars, but I've had the blessing of being here very early. I was here when they was turning it into an UNESCO site. I was here when Mariah, the glass building, had no glass on it. It had a hard hat on it. Even here at Habitat, it was not finished. It was only a couple of villas here. And to see the expansion, to see the promotion, to see even people now here from all walks of life. When I first came, I was like, how are we going to get people to come here? This is literally in the middle. This is not Riyadh. This is not Jeddah. This is somewhere totally desolate. And even a place like this, life is showing up and showing out and feeling good. And even the energy and the breeze, which is the tone of my voice of how I'm speaking, is because I'm feeling. I'm relaxed and the breeze is blowing. The sun is definitely out. But there's an energy here that with these mountains surrounding us, you can feel the strength, you can feel grounded. feel sacred. And it's I think they're very smart for tripling down on this amazing area. Shout out to the entire RCU, you know, RCA, everybody that's put this amazing. I don't even know what to call it because, like I said, I feel like I'm in Mars. You know,
Right.
put Mars together.
It is incredible. It's a must visit place. If you go anywhere, you have to visit AlUla, preferably during the Camel Cup because it's just more fun that way. But you know what's really interesting, you know, Saudi, that the expansion and the vision 2030 that has been happening there is just astronomical. I used to live in Saudi, and what I've seen in terms of development, it is just unlike anything that any country has experienced before. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
But on the other hand, you also have something that we're very accustomed to hearing here in the Middle East, and that is the misconceptions that people have about the Arab world, about Arabs and Muslims. And
yeah.
so for someone who is, you know, coming here so often, Alicia comes here, and, you know, do you hear those kind of things? And what would you say to people who have those kind of misconceptions before they come? Did you have any before you arrived that, you know, and then you changed the way that you saw it?
Well, like I said, I'm from the South Bronx, so uh, just in my hometown, I was living in an area that wasn't well served, well funded, well represented. So I started from the bottom. So for me to criticize any other place, I have no position there because I know where I actually come from and my own place. And I used to get frustrated when doing interviews and, you know, I had a forward vision of where Saudi is today a long time ago, 6 years ago. And, you know, I was early to the vision, early to the party, let's say, just because I believed in it. And a lot of people would do interviews and they just want to talk about the negative things that they've heard. And I used to get very offended because I'm telling them about how the artists are now being supported, this is happening, how AlUla's being built up, how's this. And nobody would want to hear these positive things. They just want to go to the negative things. And then I realized, I said, you know what? It's not even their fault. You know, they're not educated on the new things that's happening. And I simply tell people, go take a visit and then let's have the conversation. Because if you haven't been here, it's going to be an unbalanced conversation. You know, one thing, when you come here, you're going to know that the people, the hospitality, the love is way more, it's so much that it can be overwhelming. You know, how beautiful and warm the hospitality is here. You know, you can walk around with $10 million worth of jewelry on and nobody's looking at you. You can leave your keys in your car. Nobody's touching your car. You can leave your bags outside with your valuables in it, come back, go to the store, and it's there. You know, women could walk at nighttime, not worrying about anything. It's a different place. We can't do this in LA, for sure, right? But, you know, it's not even to compare apples and oranges. My message is come here and see for yourself. That's just it. That's how I handle it now.
You absolutely, you can only see for yourself. There's no other way for it to be truly appreciated and understood as well. Um, I want to move into kind of, you know, as we come to the end of the interview, I want to move into family a little bit, and ask you about what you're like as a dad, as a father.
Oh, I'm a pain in the ass as a father and a dad. I drive my kids crazy. It's what I wake up to do, you know, because I still channel my inner child myself. So to be able to be that fun dad that want to play pranks, that want to get on your nerves, that want to tease you, but also teach you at the same time, values, teach you openness and how to embrace other cultures, other people, other foods. It's like the best job in the world I have is being a dad to my 5 kids. You know, you ask any of them where I'm at, they're gonna say Saudi, right? Like I asked Genesis, I was like, he knows where I'm going next. Where you going, to Saudi? Like, I go many places, by the way. I don't just come to Saudi, but my kids gonna forever say Saudi. But yeah, you know,
Did they love it? Did they love it? Did they love it when they come?
they love it. They wanted to be here right now, but they have school. They love to travel in general. You know, like they
Yeah.
really love to travel. They definitely love Saudi, for sure. They like the Middle East period. They like the entire GCC of where we've traveled. But also being a great dad is also having a great wife that helps me be a great dad with the support and, you know, the balance as well. So, you know, it's a balance.
And you know, speaking of a great wife, Alicia Keys, the one and only, of course. You guys have been married 13, 14 years?
13, yeah, going on 14. It's moving fast.
Yeah. It's moving fast. I'm going to ask you a question. Why is she the one?
Because there's none before and none to come. And she's just the one. That's just how God put her here. You know, like she's just different. She's congratulations to her on Hell's Kitchen, her
Yes.
Broadway musical. I cannot say play. I will get in a lot of trouble, ladies and gentlemen. It's a musical. And it's on Broadway. And I watched her build this show for 13 years and rave reviews, editor's choice, been sold out every day since opening. So congratulations to Hell's Kitchen. And if you're in New York, try to get some tickets to see Hell's Kitchen and try to get some tickets to see Giants at the Brooklyn Museum.
But
I had to give you all
she's
the
incredible
information.
though. She's incredible. And you know, you have your kids together as well.
Yeah,
You have Egypt, you have Genesis. Egypt is pretty amazing.
yeah.
And your eldest son is also, he's in the
NASA.
business.
Yeah, NASA. Yes.
How does that make you feel seeing them, you know, go into the business and what do you say to them? What do you advise him?
I give them freedom to explore. You know, I don't really put up the roadblocks because they have to learn and, you know, we feel like we got to protect our kids from every single bump and bruise. I say let them get bruised and, you know, don't let them totally hurt themselves, but, you know, catch them a little bit and but let them bruise themselves up a little bit and because that's how you're going to learn. You know, you're going to learn through the experiences. If we're protecting them from having the experiences, they're never going to learn. They're just going to keep depending on mommy and daddy for survival when they should depend on themselves. And so we don't pressure them into art. We don't pressure them into music. We don't pressure them into sports. What we do pressure them into is being kind to people, taking your work serious in school, being respectful to yourself and others, you know, and financial literacy as well. You know, they have 3 buckets of where they keep their money, spend, save, give, and give away, which is very important in the household. And these are simple things that we believe that they can grow and have certain, you know, just certain mindset that's going to just help them gravitate and have that rope to pull themselves up at any given time with these basic toolbox of things they can pull from. And it's an amazing journey just to see them change course. Like one minute they want to do music, next minute they writing movies, the next minute they want to do fashion. So this is all we have to let the kids do everything, except be disrespectful. You know that's not accepted.
It's incredible to see them doing their thing. Egypt, you know, has already been producing for Kendrick Lamar, has already been doing things in music.
Yeah,
But he doesn't want to go in that direction, I think. He wants to do something else. Is that right?
he wants to go to NBA. I mean, he got 2 MVPs last month, so he's channeling his NBA, but his mom won't let him stopped the piano, so he's still advancing at that. I think the Kendrick Lamar thing was something that he had fun with, and he moved on from that. I think he'll visit that later in his life when it really catches up to him, and like, wow, like, you know, when I was 5 years old, I did something amazing that I want to revisit and probably do more of. But right now, he's just exploring and having fun with his wins.
Amazing, amazing. He'll be the next LeBron, the next Steph Curry. Who knows? Who knows where he's going to be next? It's incredible. But for
Inshallah.
you, inshallah, you know, it's hard to imagine you doing anything else, anything more. But I know there's always something new at front of mind for you. What's the next itch that you want to scratch? What's next for you?
Um, that's a lot of things that's next, but I actually want to double down with what I already have. You know, because like sometimes we just moving past what I was saying before, so much greatness that if we double down what we already have and focus on what we already have, you know, and let those things exercise its maximum capacity, I think we would get a lot of joy out of that instead of running all, being a jack of all trades and a master of none. You know, so right now I'm focused on what I actually love and what I actually have, and just putting all of the energy into that, and you know, turning down a lot of different things that sound like good ideas, but it's another 10,000 hours added to the schedule. It's only 24 hours in a day. So you master what you have and you keep it tight and you keep it small, you can still have your empire. I mean, look at Jeff Bezos. He has Amazon. He's not, you know, everything else is just him playing around. You know, so I wanna have my Amazon, you know, I wanna have my Facebook. And I think we have that with Verzuz. You know, I think we have that with Verzuz from the entertainment side, but I have to give it that same passion and that same push. I think I have it with Saudi Bronx as well on the sports side, but it has to have that time, that push, and you know, you have to build a team that can support it and take it to a level that it's never been. I mean, we already broke records in the federation, you know, so that was just the beginning. You know, imagine if we really focused on these things and gave it like 200%. But yeah, you know, those things.
I love it. I love seeing how excited you are about it, and it's clear that you're serious. You know, for people who think this is just a fun thing for Swizz Beatz, this is not. You're serious. You're doing this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. All the best. The
Thank
best
you.
of luck with the camel races.
Shukran.
I hope you win everything that you're up for. It's going to be incredible to see, and there's just so much to come. It's incredibly exciting times.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Swizz Beatz. It's
Thank
been
you.
incredible talking to you.
Thank you for having me.